70% of the Indian farmers are the small and marginal holders. Particularly the 25% of the contribution to the Indian agriculture economy is from the dairy industry. 70 to 80% of the milk producers in this country are women. Most of them are even landless, are small holders, are less than 2 acres, 1 acre. They have 1 cow, or 2 cow, or 1 or 2 buffaloes, by which they are producing milk and making their life. About 50% of this country is living on an income which is less than €1 per day. And farmers are only producers, and they are marketing it. They don't have a collective marketing mechanisms or infrastructures. In some places, cooperatives are playing good role, particularly in the milk sector. Most of the milk production is now under the cooperatives still. Under WTO provisions, the tariff rate quota, every year or other we are importing milk powder and ghee oil from the European countries. This year also 30,000 tons of milk powder and 15,000 tons of butter oil was imported from the European countries under tariff rate quota at a price which is less than that of the cooperatives are producing the milk powder and butter oil. So if the economy is left to the market and market can determine, then when there is a demand and supply gap, the milk producers of this country should have little better price for their produce, which has not happened. Whenever there is a deficit or gap in supply demand, under tariff rate quota we are importing. So this is what happening to everything. Recently, the finance minister said we may import even rice. We do not know whether this gap is real or hooked up by the economists who are working for the companies or the thing. So in this context, this India-European Union agreement is coming. So what farmers will get benefit? Farmers are not having the effective organizations to trade with countries like Europe. And when I was there in Europe recently, last year, small peasants who sat with me, in Europe also, farmers are facing problem because of the overproduction of the milk. And Europe is constantly trying to open market in ASEAN countries where the milk consumption is very high. Even the slightest opening in India will help the European companies to market their things. But people are saying milk is in the negative list of the European Union negotiations. But they say not completely, dairy is not completely out of FTA in this, and even some of the value-added products can be imported. If these tariffs are removed, then what is the question of protectionism? How can you protect? The tariffs is the only important protection as far as India is concerned, whereas in Europe, in other countries, you have other non-tariff. In our ports, we don't even have proper laboratories to check. From Australia, we have imported wheat to Chennai port, and the customs department stopped it because it has a very high residues of pesticides, and it was sent to some premier institutes in the country, CFTRI. They said it is okay, it is up to the level of tolerable limits. Then it was distributed across South India. This tariff is the only important protection mechanism that will be reduced to zero level. Means this is nothing but a new colonial agenda of Europe to invade India. It will have a disastrous impact on the lives of small and marginal farmers. Because of the land price, some of the big farmers, they can sell out their lands and start some business, or they can do something. But the small and marginal farmers are already committing suicide. Every day, at least 50 farmers who decided to quit the farm, not only quit the farm, is committing suicide. This is the trend in India, where instead of exploring new possibilities, exploring appropriate policy support to the Indian agriculture, it is really unfortunate to the government of India to find out solutions through trade. And I understand this European Union is pressurizing India through these FTA negotiations to accept the UPO, to join UPO. And the learned people are saying that UPO-like clauses can be brought into this FTA. If this happens, that will end the farmers' rights over seed, and already we have this Plant Varieties Protection Act, which is not very effectively implemented, but we have an act. Fortunately, we have not preferred to join UPO 1991. And if all these things are coming in through this FTA, then that would be a major assault on the Indian farmers' rights over the resources, particularly seed. So, unlike the agriculture in Europe or in America, here 60 to 70% of the population, which is directly or indirectly depending on agriculture and rural economy, and they are making their lives. If you come to my place, I know many farmers who are not making a life with support of Manmohan Singh or Chidambaram or our finance minister. They are having their goats, sheep, and few livestock on which they are making their life. They are paying their school fees out of that. And whenever they are in crisis, they are selling one sheep for 4,000 rupees and paying the school fees. This is the way they are making their life. And if meat and other producers are dumped in India, then these poor farmers won't get price for their produces. So this kind of disastrous impact will definitely be brought into the lives of the farmers.